I'm Tracy Pachaki, the owner of Illustrated Designs. We work with a lot of small and mid-market businesses that are struggling right now. They're struggling financially as well as mentally. And after 25 years in the industry, I have a lot of information and tips to share about marketing and events, and I've been sharing those on our social media posts. However, I can only share so many tips myself, and I wanted to help as many people as I could during this time. And I'm honored to know some incredible leaders and industry experts that also wanted to help. So I'm launching this series of interviews to help you run your small business during social distancing. Today, I am so grateful that Melissa Hopley Rice has agreed to be our first interviewee. Melissa is a well-accomplished international motivational speaker, mental health, anti-bullying, and suicide prevention advocate, and the author of The People You Meet in Real Life. I know Melissa because of the incredible work she's been doing with our client, Michael's Giving Hand. And right now she's doing some work with NAMI on the main line. So Melissa, did I miss anything in your introduction?
No, it always is awkward when you get your introduction read, but.
Well, thank you for joining us. And
Sure.
I know as a business owner and a human being, I'm not alone with the roller coaster of emotions and the stress and anxiety I've been feeling. So I kind of have a multi-part question for you.
Sure.
What have your clients been struggling with, and how have they needed to adjust with regards to social distancing and the shutdowns? And then what advice and tips, as well as resources, might you be able to share with others in a similar position?
So I'm a public speaker and I speak for two organizations, Michael's Giving Hand and NAMI Mainline. And I basically go into schools in middle school, high school, and colleges, and I share my personal story of mental health recovery with anxiety, depression, peer support, positive coping, therapy, those types of things. I had about dozen presentations scheduled in the next month, and clearly they were all canceled. So schools are scrambling to think, or try to help their students with mental health issues. Now, when I speak, there's a 1 in 4 statistic. 1 in 4 young adults battle a mental health issue, and there's a statistic for adults as well. And when I go into schools, I do push that number, but we also speak to the 3 out of 4 who might not have a diagnosis, but have things going on in their life, externally, divorce, financial issues, breakups, etc. Things that go on in everyday life. They do affect us. So I always say I speak to the 4 out of 4. And especially right now with what we're going through with the anxiety and the depression and, this social distancing and isolation and not having the coping we use, every single person, regardless if you have a diagnosis or not, is going through a lot of these things. And the problem with me and my schools is I can't go in and do these presentations. I can't personally come in and have that, personal touch where I'm speaking to these students. And that's usually where we get the best feedback. So we're trying to transition and we're trying to do digital speaking, where I share my story either pre-recorded or live where they can do Q&A. We found it's doing pretty good. I've done a few schools and we've had some, interest. One had over 600 views with the students because the principal put it out, but it's just different. It's just not personal. And I think our community in America strives on, personal. I think we love that, the body language and just the communication and just feeling like people are present. So it just doesn't feel as genuine, even though it is, but it's a very different thing. However, the tip is, listen, we have to take advantage. What we can do, we do. We use the digital because at least we get the point across. At least we get our message across. At least we can help others come up with ideas that one school bounces off the other. Stuff like this, you allowing me to speak is incredible because hopefully this hits community members. And my job is to let you know you're not alone. My job is to let you know there's hope out there. There's help. There's still, digital support you can get. NAMI Mainline has support groups. We can do Zoom with work. So just trying to find the resources at home to get you through this. I think the fact that we've made it through this far, we're so strong. We could totally get through the rest of this.
Awesome. So do you have any coping mechanisms that you could quickly share?
Yeah. So problem with me is I'm a very, I am an athlete. So sports, doing those things is a big coping for me, and not being able to do that right now is tough. I can go outside and play with my kids, but I think the transition for a lot of people is when I speak to youth, when I speak to even adults, it's find the thing you love to do. And a positive coping is something that doesn't hurt you, that's positive for you, right? That makes you happy. we can't go wall climbing. We can't go to a air zone bounce place. We can't do those things, go out with friends and do the things we love. So the problem I'm finding right now is, and the question I'm getting is, what do I do then? Well, you find something at home, like music, like reading, go outside, make a obstacle course. Like, it sounds extreme, but the things that you love, and maybe it takes some effort, I promise once you get there, that will become a coping and you can transition that into your daily life.
Okay. That's helpful. So other than that, what if somebody's never been diagnosed with anxiety or depression, what can they be looking for that things might be stirring up now that they've never experienced before?
So I just want to point out I'm an expert in my own story and speaking, not, professional expert, but from speaking, etc. I can tell you that the things we say for, parents to look at, anyone to look at, is if their behaviors are changing. They used to love sports, now they don't love sports. They used to hang out with friends, now they're isolated. They're getting angry, irritable. But here's the problem. We're in a situation where we're in social isolation and they're not playing sports. Oh no. They're not going out with friends. Oh no. Well, we understand that because everybody is going to have some emotions. And the thing with that is talk, have conversations, ask open-ended questions to your children, to your brothers and sisters, to your parents. How are you doing? Are things going okay? That's a good question, but what are you doing to help yourself? Is there anything I can do to help you? Are there ways you're feeling that are different than before? So you can get a grasp on how they're really feeling, letting them know you're there to support them. The only other thing I say, and I think is really important, is a lot of people are getting down on themselves. Like, oh my God, I can't get out of this funk, or I'm so mad at myself, or I didn't pay attention to my kids enough today, or I didn't keep them on a schedule. Listen, give yourself a break. Okay. We're all going through this. And I think the feelings you have are real and it's okay. Do not get mad at yourself. If you have them, they're valid. You may live next door to the same person, have the most identical life to them, but they're handling it differently and they're looking at you like, oh, you're taking it pretty bad. That's okay because everybody handles things differently. So we're in the same situation, but differently. And I think the point is giving yourself a break and telling yourself that, taking a step back, saying, I'm allowed to feel this way, but now what can I do to help myself get through this is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and to play off of that, I feel like it's a roller coaster. So one minute I could be feeling great, and another minute I can't even function on one task. So I think that we have to have empathy for everyone else around us because they're probably going through the same roller coaster, and they might be in a different point on the coaster, at that particular moment. So, well, that's fantastic. So this will end. We will get to the other side of this. So
yes, absolutely.
When social distancing restrictions are lifted, what changes, if any, do you think will happen in society?
I think it's going to be a very slow transition. I think people are going to be very timid with, I guess not maybe their family. I think it'll be a joyous celebration when you can see family and hug them. And I know my mom and my brother and sister, I can't wait to hold my nephew and just kiss him everywhere. But in my own personal opinion and the way I feel is going back, I think I'm going to be slow in my interaction very closely with others. Shopping, I think I'm going to still carry hand sanitizer, even if it's 100 degrees out and it might quote unquote kill the virus. I just think our perspective is going to be a little different. I think we will get through, though. In the case of 9/11, we were very cautious and had these worries. Then it kind of died down over time and we went back to life. So I do think we'll get back to life, but I hope that we can take from this that those moments we had, the positives with our family, with playing video or board games and letting yourself know that we went through a really tough time and we made it through. And showing yourself how strong you are, I think that's going to, help us become stronger people and take a step back and know that we have to find that downtime to celebrate everything we've done and not keep go, 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 intermittently have that slow down time. So it's just my opinion, how I feel. But I guess we won't know until we know, is it going to be a quick everyone back? Is it going to be a slow? Is it going to be New York, you're shut down, but we're open? It's honestly, it makes you, for somebody with obsessive compulsive disorder, I fear the worst. I fear bad things happening. I try to control them and not let them happen. So for me, this is actually good for therapy for me because it's really teaching me that I don't have control. I still have to live my life, but trying to live knowing that I'm not in full control. And that kind of eases me in an odd way.
Yeah. And knowing that you're not alone, I think that helps
Big
a
thing.
lot. I mean, it's not even just a female thing or a location thing. It's everywhere, and everyone is being affected.
Absolutely.
And we just have to take comfort in that we're all in this together.
And I think if I could throw in there, so you did mention I had written a book. It's called The People You Meet in Real Life. And this is the book. And it's actually 30 people I've met in my life. Each proceed benefits Michael's Giving Hand, goes right to the organization, supports their free programs. But with the book, before this even happened, I was so blinded through life when I was going through my severe anxiety because I had been told to hide. I had been told that I was weird and different. And I put on a front of being an athlete and smiling all the time when I was really struggling inside. So when I got to about 16, I really thought it was worth not being here anymore. And I had a really tough day, and I had a friend notice this. And she had come to my room. I was home alone and had asked me one question that nobody had ever asked before. It was always, "You're a drama queen. Get over it. Are you kidding me? What's going on?" And she actually said to me, "Hey, miss, I just want to let you know that I care about you. Please just let me help you. I'm not going to judge you." And I just couldn't believe it. It was finally the realization that what I was going through was real and it was okay and somebody did care. So after that, I started getting the help that I needed because she had done the right thing and told my mom. And I went to a study at UPenn, started getting help. And I guess it was like I was blinded. And then things started opening up when I started being myself and knowing this doesn't define who I am, that I can still have a mental illness and still play sports and still be a daughter and do these things. And once I got to college, I was on a panel at school and we were trying to make the school better. I went to Immaculata University and I sat on this table and looked down, and there were other students I saw every day. One girl was on my soccer team. They started talking, and she shared her name. Why am I blanking right now? Casey had shared that she had a severe eating disorder and her heart was being affected and she couldn't play soccer. Well, we were all pissed at her on the team. We had no idea what was going on. She was slacking, and I took a breath. And then two down was a girl who was so nice, but people kind of made fun of her because her hair was missing. She says she has a baseball-sized brain tumor that was removed in high school, was told she never walk again, read again, doing all these amazing things. And I had to take a step back and tell myself that, wow, my whole life I didn't want to be judged, and here I am judging others. And it woke me up to say, wow, others have a story, and I need to take a step back and realize that. And they had allowed me to share their stories because I realized that my job wasn't to share my story. It was to open up the conversation and let you know that you're not alone and there's hope. So in the book, in each chapter, I ask the question, am I alone? Do I matter? And there's 30 people I've met from 5 years old up till now, like Casey, like Carolyn, who share their stories and basically say, no, you're not alone. You know, there is hope. I went through this. We will get through, and we're in this together. And the puzzle pieces kind of represent that we are connected, but we all have our individual lives. So I just think just even before this happened, I had realized that we all had a story and we weren't alone. And I'm hoping that just these stories can maybe inspire you to really push through this and understand that we really all have different lives, different things we go through, but we come together and support. We can have that conversation and really get through this together.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we'll put a link to your book
thank you. I appreciate that.
in the comment section, and a link to you if people want to reach out to you for speaking engagement or something along those lines. But so do you have any other resources that you can recommend or anything that you'd like to mention that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, so michaelsgivinghand.org is a great resource. We also have NAMI Mainline. If you Google NAMI Mainline, all their things come up. The really cool thing NAMI Mainline is doing right now is they have a Zoom digital support group. So if you're struggling, there are certified moderators in it, and it really is helping others just come together and talk about this and talk about mental health and the emotions. And there's so many resources on Google. If you just type in near me, you can see the support groups. You can see the, digital therapists that you could connect with, and just keep the conversation going. You have to talk about it. We have to talk about the emotions. The more we hold it in, the more we're going to harm ourselves. So I think talking about it, finding the support, the people you trust, is really, really going to help us get through this. And you might talk to someone and they might say, oh my gosh, I feel the same way. And that connection you have, but you never knew, is so beautiful.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, my plan for all of these is to help everyone, but I also want to end on a good note every time. So I'm going to say something that I'm grateful for today, and then ask you to share something that you're grateful for. So today I am grateful for things like this technology that allows us to stay connected during this time. If this had happened when I was growing up, this would not have been an option. So I am grateful for that.
I am grateful for the opportunity to not just share my story, but the stories of others, because I do believe that if we start, connecting and sharing those stories and understanding we're not alone, the things it does for people is remarkable. And I just wish my whole life I had known that, and now I do. And I'm hoping others understand that as well, that you are not alone.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Melissa. I'm certain
thank you.
that the information that you shared will help a lot of people, and we'll add some information in the comments below. So just to let everyone know, this is going to be a series. We're going to be doing these for as long as we need to on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So our next interview is going to be this Thursday, April 2nd at 1 o'clock with Michelle McNabb. She's an event marketing specialist, so we're going to have a lot to chat about. But until then, stay home and stay healthy. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you so much.